just about my experiences throughout my life and my connection to culture. First of all, I wanted to ask if anyone actually knows the Indigenous land that we're on at the moment. If anyone's actually got any idea. So, yeah, so Wallarong, we're in the Kulin Nation as well, so that's good that Maish knows that. But yeah, it is important for us to know that sort of stuff. It's really good that you did know that, Maish, because when we're on a land, we want to respect it, and it's a little thing that we can just appreciate when we're trying to come together as a group. So first of all, knowing and being aware of things like this can really shape the movement towards reconciliation. I'm even guilty at times of not knowing the land I'm on. I'm saying this as I'd like to pay respects to the Wallarong people and the Kulin Nation and pay respect to elders past and present. Firstly, I wanted to touch on myself and discuss what it's like for me being an Indigenous Australian. My Aboriginality is something that means an enormous amount to me and something that I'm very proud of. I often find myself being caught in two worlds, that of a white Australian society and that where I represent my Aboriginality. This stands out in times such as Australia Day, when I find myself in between my non-Aboriginal mates. They want to party and celebrate the way we do as young Australians, whilst on the other hand, I'm thinking about what the date means to me and the fact that there's a message behind it and what that stands for. This is a total disregard of 100,000 years of Aboriginal culture and the beginning of a build-up to the wanted assimilation of an Australian culture, of an Aboriginal culture. Leading on from this, I'd like to explain my opinion on the current push for the Black Lives Matters movement and why it means something to me. To me, it represents something much bigger than myself. It's bigger than all of us. Unlike some, I've not experienced racism directly because of the colour of my skin. I have, although, experienced casual racism, something which most of us don't even realise occurs. Particularly growing up, I was often questioned on my Aboriginality, asking how much of it was in me or what percentage I was. Now, this mightn't seem a big thing to most of you and it might seem a little bit petty, but I can tell you why it's a problem. Without going into massive detail and touching on it very briefly, this is offensive to an Aboriginal person because it signifies something much bigger. It reflects what might have happened hundreds of years ago, all the way up to the 1970s. I'm talking about the stolen generation, which was mostly aimed at the breeding out of a race, and that was shrinking it down to a number and a percentage, where the smaller an Aboriginal person's percentage of Aboriginality was, the better it was. Though, on top of this, those that were affected are our parents and grandparents directly. So when people say things happened in the past and no longer matter, think about that. Just remember that those things are still alive and well today. I consider the Black Lives Matter movement to be a time to educate. I therefore consider it my responsibility as an Aboriginal leader in the community to play a big part in this. But it shouldn't just be up to me, it should be everyone's responsibility, and it's up to everyone to make a difference. And this only again can be done by us all working together and coming in as one. It's an obvious fact that not everyone here is racist. Not everyone in Australia is racist, not everyone we associate with is racist. It's just the fact that there is people that are racist and that makes it an issue. So we've seen it in previous weeks as well with the Eddie Betts incident. For those that don't know, he was represented as an 8. Again, some of you who are unsure of the significance behind this, not until 1967 was an Aboriginal person not considered flora and fauna, meaning they were considered equal to that of animals and plants and not as human beings. The recent events in America and deaths in custody in Australia are all part again of the issue. The fact that this is still going on today is a massive joke. If things like this don't prove that there's an issue, I don't know what actually does. Again, I can't stress more that it's up to all of us to make a change. Take the time to educate yourself and stand up for others. Stand up for racism when you see it, and we each play a part in it, and each of us can play a little bit more towards fading racism out. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.